All right, I think we are live. Let me see. Um, let me see. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. All right. I don't see myself. It's very annoying. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. Here we go. All right, so today, what are we talking about? Turning your content and conversations into consistent clients. That is like that one sentence is like the essence of everything that I think I do with most of my clients. And it's everything. It's how you make a consistent business. And it's really what you want to do. You want to be able to have as many conversations as possible to be able to create that consistency in your business. It's hard to do because most of us have an allergy to consistency, but it's the way to do it. All right, so you don't need to be pushy or weird or awkward to make a sale. And this is what helps you move towards that. Like something. I didn't forgot to close my blind. Sorry. You don't really need to do that. You do need to know how to make the ask without the ick. That's what we're talking about today. So clearly, confidently, and in your voice, not in my voice, not in his voice, her voice, your voice, not in ChatGPT's voice, in your voice. And that is so, 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 so important. So this episode gives you like simple structure to shift from like value giver to offer maker. I am not telling you to stop giving the value. I'm all about it. I'm all about, you giving as much away as you want to. I've never, there's like that little saying they use. I don't know if people still say this, but back in the day, the gurus had this thing like, give the how and the why, but not the what, or give the what and the why, but not the how, whatever. I don't care. Don't worry about any of that. People are not hiring you for that, right? Obviously, you need to be knowledgeable. Obviously, you need to be able to move people from here to there. They're hiring you because they're confident that you are the one that can move them from A to B, that you are the one that has the knowledge, the skills, the expertise, the energy, all of that, right? But mostly they're hiring you for you. They know that you are the person. And so you want everything to be in your voice as much as humanly possible. And you definitely want to stop leaving people guessing or ghosting and start hearing more yeses. And to do that, you have to be able to make the ask without the ick. And that is the title of today's episode. So what we're going to talk about is why you're not asking or asking weirdly. How many of you drop it down below? Not asking. Give me a not asking. And I mean, not if you ask once every couple of months. I mean, like in general, how many of you are not asking? Give me a not asking. And how many of you are asking, but it's like so weird, so awkward. You're like, oh my God, I hate it. So tell me that below. I want to hear. Yeah. So a lot of us have this fear of sounding salesy or maybe doing it too soon. I know that's one of mine. Like I'll swing from not asking to like doing it too soon. That's not where we want to be. You don't want to do that either. And if you do it, you do it. If you get called out on it, you get called out on it. Don't stress yourself out. It's going to happen, right? It's a fine line, but you want to figure out where it is. So if you're not sure when the right time is, it's hard to figure that out. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. And you don't want to ruin the relationship. Of course, you don't want to ruin the relationship. You want these people to be in your ecosystem, right? For years and years to come, whether they hire you right now or not. Why? Because if they want to stay in your ecosystem, that means they trust you. That means they like you. They want to be around you. They love your energy, whatever it is. That means even if they never hire you, they're going to bring other people in. They're going to recommend you. They're going to talk great about you. It means that if, the tide changes and all of a sudden they're ready, and 6 months from now or 2 years from now, they will hire you. So we want to keep people in our ecosystem for as long as humanly possible. So no, we don't want to ruin relationships. That is definitely not the goal. How many of you are afraid of rejection or just getting a no? So I tell myself I'm not, but I think deep down, maybe I am, right? I think that could be a little bit of my thing. Because I never liked sales and why else, right? You've never even really done it. So that's a little bit of it, I think. And maybe we all have that. It's really hard to push yourself to do something where you're gonna get a lot of no's. You just are. But think about this. If you are doing your job correctly, if you are doing everything right, that means you're giving away a lot of free content anyway. You're giving strategies away. You're giving people how to do it on their own. So if some people tell you no, don't worry about it. You've done your best. You've given them plenty of stuff. You didn't do anything that made them say no. It just, maybe you did, but you didn't do it intentionally. Maybe you don't have everything dialed in yet, is what I mean. So, maybe you did make the ask, but it was like wishy-washy. It was like buried. They didn't even get it. People want to be invited, believe it or not. They do. They want to be invited, not confused. They will hire the person who tells them, this is what I do. And I can't tell you, this has happened to me plenty of times where somebody has hired somebody else and then told me about it. I'm like, what? Like, that is exactly what I do. Well, that's on me. That's not on them. That's on me, right? For not being very clear, for not, helping them binge my content or understand that, I help people have more conversations so they get consistent clients. So, they just can't say yes if they don't know there's an offer, if they don't know what you do. You have to tell them it is what it is. So let's talk about when to make the ask. Like, when is the best time to actually make the ask? Definitely after you've already built some trust or sparked some interest. So how can you do that? Well, we've talked about plenty of ways. If you want to binge some of the other ones, we talked about plenty of ways, but you want to be able to give them some value. Maybe that comes in the form of they put a question in and you put a very thorough, not leaving anything back answer in. Something that helped them move forward, or you sent them a resource, right? You gave them another mastermind that you did, and you said, hey, watch this, check it out. Let me know if you have any questions. That's building trust right there is, being able to give them ways to solve their immediate problem. And if you can do that, you've built that trust. So KPIs, key performance indicators, how am I going to word this? How many people's immediate problems have you solved today? If you tracked that and only that, if that is the only thing you tracked in your business, you'd be soaring. I promise you. So building that trust, sparking the interest. Maybe they raise their hand for one of your freebies. Maybe you were on a call with them and they're like, oh my God, yes, that is what I need. You want to hear that, right? Then you can move them forward. So if they've engaged with your content or shared a pain point, right? Obviously, pain point is a lot stronger than engaging with your content. I mean, if your friends engage with your content to be nice and to be supportive, doesn't necessarily mean that they have your pain point. So you do want to, make sure you're moving them in that direction. And you can ask, there are qualifying questions that you could ask. And a lot of times I do that. And, I'll get an answer back and it leads to another and another, and I can give them something, a resource, turns into a call. Hey, let me show you how to do that, whatever. So another time you can make the ask is if you've created value or helped them shift perspective. Perspective is actually bigger, believe it or not, than helping them fix like a more tangible problem. Because if you can shift their perspective, that's an aha moment. So sometimes people ask me like, why do I do what I do? And I always say, I live for aha moments. Like to me, that's the most fun. When somebody's like, oh my God, like, yes, I get it. That's the moment for me. That is the best. And why is that the best? Because I've shifted somebody's perspective. They actually now get what they did not get before. So they've reached a point of clarity that they did not have before. What does that mean? Well, you know it in your business, right? The minute you get clear on something, you're like bang, 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 right? The minute you get clear on something. Same thing with your clients. The minute they are super clear on what you do, how you can move them from here to here, no conversations, having lots of conversations, converting lots of conversations, whatever it is. The minute that they're clear on that and it's their problem, they're going to be like, oh, yes. So you want to shift their perspective. You want to make them be like, oh my God, that's how you do it. Ah, I get it. So they've been doing it this way for a long time. You're like, hey, but you really should be doing it this way. And they're like, oh my God, you're so right. Why didn't I see that before? Or maybe they've asked a question that leads towards your zone of genius. So maybe you're in forums. Oh, do people have forums anymore? Maybe you're in Facebook groups. Maybe you're in some masterminds. Somebody asks a question that is down your alley, right? What you have an expertise in. You can now chat them off that mastermind and say, hey, first of all, you could answer it. But second of all, you could chat them off of it and say, hey, I saw that you were interested in this, blah, blah, blah. I have another thing, or I have this event. Oh, event coming up. Speaking of that, I have an event coming up. Next week, I am doing conversations that convert. If you want in, I would love to see you there. Drop convert underneath this if you want in. It's 5 days, Monday through Friday. I want to say it's at noon Eastern, but don't hold me to that. I don't have my calendar in front of me. I think it's at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday. Drop convert. If you can't come to those days or times, drop convert anyway, and we'll discuss it. But it is going to be amazing. I haven't done one in a while, and I absolutely love doing them. I love interacting. I love doing these. I love the live aspect of it. It's all in Zoom, so you have to get your links, but super fun. You will love it. I give a lot of resources and I give a ton away. All right, so what's one moment where you should have made the ask but didn't? Tell me about it. What's one moment where you should have made the ask but didn't? Tell me about it below. I want to hear about it. All right, if you're into a little bit of Erica Cheese, we are going to go into a framework that I use with my clients. So get your pen and paper out. If you're cheesy like me, get your colored pens and paper out. And we are starting. So how to ask without the ick. That's what we're talking about today, right? So the first thing you want to think about is C, contextual. Do you ever laugh at the words I come up with? Contextual invite. So reference what contextual means like go back, reference to what you've been talking about. So for example, if you drop convert underneath this video, I'm going to send you a message and I'm going to say, hey, you were on my how to ask without the ick live and you dropped convert. I am referencing what we were talking about, right? That is obviously one of the best ways to ask without the ick. Or if you answer somebody's questions, hey, we were in so-and-so's mastermind the other day. You asked this question, I answered it. I have this resource that would be even better than the answer I gave you the other day. Are you interested? And don't say this resource, say what it is. Just saying. Um, all right, so C, contextual invite. That's very powerful. Why is that so powerful? Because it personalizes it, right? It tells them you were paying attention. It bonds you almost. Sidetrack really quick. So I can never remember the guy's name. Preston something. Anyway, he did a study, or maybe quotes a study about know, like, and trust, about marketing and everything else. And what it says is if you see somebody 7 times in different environments, you already have created some sort of a bond. And when you start speaking, it's like you already had the bond. So if you see somebody in a mastermind, then you see him in a Facebook group, then you see him on a call, then if you jump in the DM, all of these different things, if there's 7 different ways that you can see the person, there's already that bond before you ever even said a word to each other. So that's how powerful that is, right? Especially if you're in a bunch of different groups and they see you in a bunch of different groups. So sometimes you think, God, I'm just like wasting my time doing this. You're not. Even if you're creating brand awareness, you're also letting them see you in their where they hang out, where they hang out too, which is powerful. So there's that. All right, that's the C. The L, light but direct. Light but direct. Um, so not pushy, but not vague either. Just clear. So you want to be light but direct. So clear, right? But not in your face type thing. So want me to send more info. That's light, right? But very direct, what we're talking about. I'm not going to lay it out, but it would be obviously we're having a conversation about something. Do you want me to send more information about that conversation? Or, hey, if we're talking about the one I said before, hey, I answered your question about X, Y, and Z. So, hey, I answered your question about, how often you should post on LinkedIn in the mastermind we were on the other day. I actually have some more information about that. It's a checklist that I can give you for posting on LinkedIn. Do you want me to send that to you? Or, something like that. You get it. All right, CL. E is the next one. If you know the word, drop it down below. If you know the word, drop it down below. All right, E is the next one. And that is express confidence. This is one of the biggest ones. And Tony Robbins, let's go to Tony Robbins. I love him. But have you ever seen a Tony Robbins thing where he does like a pose before he goes out on stage? He's got a rebounder. He jumps up and down on the rebounder and he strikes a pose, right? He doesn't say strike a pose. What does he say? I can't think of it. Drop it below if you know what it is. Why can I not think of it? I've just been doing it. But anyway, so he does like his like moves. Make a move. That's what he says. Make a move. He does his move, and that move triggers something to put him in the state, right? You want to be able to do that. So I used to have this. I used to have this bracelet my grandmother gave me. Still have it somewhere sitting over here. Ugh. She gave me this little bracelet, right? And for some reason, I don't know, like, did my hand expand or what, but I'm like too nervous to put it on anymore. So I hold it. But I used to like put this on. That used to be my thing. It's like my hand got bigger. Remember, that was the one that I broke. I don't know if you guys were around for that whole debacle, but so yeah, I'm too nervous to put it on anymore, but I hold it. So have something that you do, there's another guy that talks about, your alter ego. Like before you walk in your house at night, dads, sit in the car, put yourself into your alter ego, which is, super dad or whatever, and then you go in the house. Have you heard that one before? So that type of thing. You want to do that. So put yourself in the state before you start speaking, before you get on the call, before you send the thing, whatever it is. And maybe you give yourself, okay, I'm going to do 30 minutes of outreach. Well, do this little ritual before you do it. Who's watching and who cares if somebody sees you? You know, you're in that co-working spot and you're standing up and you're like, you're making your move, whatever it is. Don't worry about it. You know, they're not writing your paychecks. They're not paying your bills. They're not the ones bringing in all the money like you will be, right? So express that confidence. And that means show belief in the transformation that you can help them achieve, not pressure. Do you see the difference? You want to show belief that you can help them get to that A to B, but you don't want to like make them do it. Never, ever, ever pressure somebody. That is the ick. If there's nothing bigger than the ick. All right. If you don't know the word by now, you're making me nervous. CLE. The next letter is A. Drop that word down below. Drop it down below. All right. Ask permission. You knew that one when I said A, right? Ask permission. So let them lead the next step. So you want to say, want the link? Want to explore that? Want me to drop you a voice note about ba ba ba? Do you want to see the checklist that I have? Do you want the cheat sheet for that? Um, so if you drop convert, I'm going to chat you. And I'm going to ask you, hey, do you want the links to blah, 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 you know, our experience that we 5-day experience we're doing next week? Do you want the links to that? And if you do, you're going to say, yeah, I'd love the links to that. And then I'm going to send you the links. See, ask permission. Easy peasy. I might ask you some other things besides that. All right. R. This is the last one. CLEAR, clear. And the R is respect their energy. Mirror their tone. Honor the moment. No hard shift vibes. What does that mean? So I'm just going to say, I just got off the call with somebody. I am leading a couple of communities, and we have a couple of part-time paid leadership positions. And I was talking about the other day, I just got on a call with somebody, and she was literally, she would be amazing for it. And I might have to dive into it later with her. I couldn't get a vibe, right? But I didn't want to be pushy. Why? I don't want to make somebody do something that they don't want to do. Maybe she doesn't have the time. Maybe she didn't really understand it. So what am I going to do? I'm going to follow up later. We had to get off. We had a hard stop. So I'm going to follow up with her later. I'm going to find out, you know, what it was all about. I did not go hardcore into it, even though I know she would be amazing. I didn't do that. I didn't start telling her, you know, oh my God, this is best for you. Because she was very almost stoic about the whole thing. And I was like, that's kind of strange. Like that, it was not her normal energy. So I don't know if, I don't know what it is, but I'm going to find out. And I did not go all, wah, you know, excited energy, which is what I wanted to do because I was actually very excited for that call. I thought she was going to be like, oh my God, like that. And she wasn't. So I didn't. You need to respect their energy, right? You need to not put yours on mine. That's hard for me. I am a very happy, excited person 24/7, to be honest. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. I talk fast. I move fast. I'm loud. You know, it's just who I am. So trying to calm it down a little bit and stay in somebody else's energy sometimes is difficult. But you need to. You don't want to overpower somebody. You don't want to make them feel uncomfortable with your own energy. And doesn't mean you can't add your little bit of excitement to it, but you see what I'm saying. All right, so let's talk about some ask phrases that you might be able to steal. So here's some examples, maybe not so robotic, not high pressure. And I've done them throughout. So if you were taking notes, but I'll just like rapid fire a couple here. Want me to send over how I can help with that? How could you change that, right? Want me to leave you a voice note? Want me to send a Loom video and show you how I can help you with that? Maybe you're a Word doc person, right? Would it help to see what this looks like in action? What does that mean? That means maybe you're sending them a video. Maybe you get on a call and show it, you know, draw it out for them. It could mean a million things, but would it help to see what this looks like in action? Another one. I've got a framework that might solve this. Talking to me? That's my answer. Want the quick version. And I might just give you the framework, like the CLEAR, right? Not the whole mastermind, masterclass that we just did right now. Maybe I just send you a PDF with the CLEAR, right? And then if you're like, oh my God, I love it, maybe then I'll send you the whole, this whole video on it. Or if you're open, I could send you a short breakdown. See? This might be helpful. Want me to send you the link? If you want more conversations that convert, drop convert, and I'd love to send you the link for our 5-day experience. And if you cannot make it next week, send convert anyway. That way we can talk about when we're doing it again. All right, what not to say. We're almost done here. What not to say. Let me know if you ever need support. That's like super vague, super forgettable. One of my girlfriends, when we were pretty young, did this like pharmaceutical sales rep or something. And one of the things they taught her was the assumptive close. And so if you want to end it, I personally would say end it with something concrete, not let me know if you ever need support. That's not concrete, right? How about I follow up with you in 2 weeks to see how you did on that? Right? That's easy. 2 weeks, pretty concrete. Another one maybe you shouldn't say. You should really check out my offer. That's like super unsolicited and off. It's just like ick. You should really check out my offer. Or are you ready to buy? That's like too in their face, right? Are you ready to buy? That's before you start telling them about your offer. So you don't want to do stuff like that. All right. Drop fire emoji if you want some copy paste messages you can use this week. Drop fire. All right. That is pretty much what we have for today. If you want the freebie, I will send you some copy paste messages. I wonder if drop fire is not a great idea. Drop fire, but then drop convo. How about drop convo? That'll be better. Yeah, drop convo, and I'll send you the freebie that will be about some phrases that you want to say. There's some other things in there, but some phrases that you want to say and not say, that type of thing. And last one, a little plug. If you want to come next week, drop convert under this or just send me a DM. Drop convert in my DMs. That would be super easy, right? And we'll talk about getting you on there. All right, have an amazing rest of your day and rest of your weekend. I will see you on Monday if you're going to be on Conversations That Convert, or on Wednesday for the next Elevate and Engage. Ciao.